wishes to be heard? Larry?
Yes. This ordinance is about hush money payoffs. SACO is giving these raises as hush money
Wait,
because
wait. You have a question about it. If you want to make a speech, you can wait till the end of the
I
meeting.
had a statement.
That's not a
That-
statement.
Wait a minute, Herb, you're absolutely right. That has nothing to do with this ordinance.
I have a
You want to
statement
discuss
that
it
is
now?
related.
No.
Well, I'll let you finish first, Mayor.
Do you have any questions about the ordinance?
I don't have any questions, but I have a statement regarding
No, no,
the
no,
salary
this is-
increases that you're
Right.
proposing.
If you don't have any questions, that's what this hearing is about. If you have any questions about it.
We've
you
been
want
through
to
this
discuss it.
before, right, Herb?
Okay, go
And
ahead.
everything
Go
you
ahead.
say
Make-
is twisted and perverse.
Right.
So
okay,
I am
okay.
telling you that I
Just
want
wanted
to
to
make a
make your
statement
statement. Go make your
regarding
statement. Make your
the
statement.
salary
Make
range
your statement.
increases.
Why don't you make your statement? It'll be quicker.
SAC was giving these raises as hush money because there's a criminal investigation in North Bergen. The salary increases are being used as hush money to impede the criminal investigation, and SACO is giving these appointments and raises to silence the police department and others pertaining to this criminal investigation. Last year, April Ciccoli presented pictures and video of DPW workers on town time stealing literature that was opposed to Mayor Nicholas Sacco. In addition, Tim Grassi intimidated and threatened a store owner on 10th Street and Grand Avenue in North Bergen. Grassi is the official intimidator for you, Sacco. Everything he did listed in that indictment, he did for you, Sacco. You are passing salary range ordinances and increasing salaries to employees because they want them to be like the three monkeys. See no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. The people are being rewarded with taxpayer money. Just like you hired the lawyers to impede the criminal investigation, we are the only town in the United States that hired criminal lawyers. You paid over $16,000 just for Wiley. And before any additional salary increase ordinances are passed, we want an independent audit by the Department of Community Affairs conducted by the state of New Jersey, or an investigative conducted by the Attorney General's office into the padded payrolls, no-show jobs, and the hush-up money being given out to township employees. You paid criminal lawyers to impede a criminal investigation. You have created jobs, and it,
Herb, this is really outside the latitude of you. I'm going to have to agree, you're outside the latitude, too far outside the latitude.
I am
Either
going
come
to
back
talk
the ordinance-
about the salary range increases
But you're not
and
talking
how you
about-
are going to be
You're not
paying
talking
off
about-
employees
Okay,
to
that's your
keep their
statement.
silence.
We heard that, that's your statement. Everything else you said is not on the ordinance. I'm being patient, but at this point, it's not on the
I
ordinance.
didn't complete my statement.
How much longer is your statement?
Another 2 minutes?
Okay.
You have created jobs and increased salaries for a payroll that could only be viewed as hush money, using taxpayer funds at the county level and the local municipal level to foster and protect your corruption. Tim Grassi demanded the township hire attorney Sam DeLuca specifically for him as a condition that he protect you, Sacco. And now I'm going to go into the relationship of the salaries. Grassi alone has 5 relatives on the county municipal payroll. Gargiulo hired his wife at over $70,000 a year.
Now, you're not on the ordinance now. Go back on the ordinance. It's not a county
I
ordinance.
am explaining to you how you cannot pass a salary range increase
Chief EMT
in
part-time.
payroll because you are
Deputy chief
using
EMT
taxpayer money for the wrong reasons. You're increasing salaries for your own political agenda.
Herb, it's really out of line at this point.
If I could
This
continue,
is just a political speech, it has nothing to do with this.
of course.
That's not appropriate.
If you want to
This
talk
is a
about the
hearing on
chief
ordinance.
EMT salary range, that's here. Senior clerk typist, that's here. I mean, if you want to talk about that, you're talking about Timmy Grassi and people down the county. Makes absolutely no sense in relationship to this.
You'll have a chance at the end of the meeting. You can sit
Okay,
down.
I will continue at that public portion of the meeting.
Thank you. Anyone else on the ordinance?
You know, quickly things happen.
Can I
And
just
I'm
add-
not criticizing, I'm saying that's just the way it
May I,
is.
may I just add
Sorry,
one,
time's up there.
but may I just add one point? Because you can say,
You can't, you can't,
you
this
can
one
talk,
you can, anybody can, so. Thank you.
Larry Weinstein, 8516 Tunnelly Avenue.
Okay, Janice, his salary is 166,272.
What is it?
166,272.
Clerk, can you restart the clock, please? Thank you. I am requesting that the state of New Jersey to send an independent auditor into the township of North Bergen to audit the no-show jobs, the low-show jobs, and the criminal enterprise that is continuing under Mayor Sacco. The salary ordinances are about hush money. These ordinances are about the underserved salaries to specific people who you, Mayor, are using to impede a criminal investigation into the township of North Bergen.
This is the same speech you just gave.
Are you going to interrupt me again?
Okay.
You see how twisted your mind is? Gargiulo and you, Sacco, are hiding behind Paul Sabinski. Paul Sabinski has collected millions of dollars from the taxpayers. His statement about Tim Grassi is that he's not pleading guilty like the others. Mr. Sacco and Sabinski must be happy because Grassi will go to prison and take the fall for you. But his family and friends will remain on the payroll. Grassi will be putting in his papers so he can collect his $70,000 and $80,000 pension, and even he will collect while he's in prison. Mr. Gargiulo, it looks like you're going to be putting in your paperwork too, because the house of cards are falling. Abraham Lincoln stated, "You can fool some of the people all the time, and all the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time." I want an independent audit. Who did the hiring of the employees? Who did the interviews of the hired people? Who is attempting to sabotage and silence the employees? You are using taxpayer money, overtime, increases in pay to the employees to work for political elections in Jersey City, for Mayor Healy, Bayonne, West New York, and Sheriff Shalari's election. You are using taxpayer money to fix political cronies' homes, including Mr. Gargiulo and your home as well, and your relatives. The payroll that you are proposing and the increase is being used to bribe public officials, and it smells like a bribe. These ordinances are just the tip of the iceberg. You have been using taxpayer money to fund your corruption and to keep people silent and to hire their families. I use Grassi as one example, and I would use you, Mayor Sacco, as an example, your family and your relatives on the payroll. Your lady friend, Kathy Samick, and all of her family and her friends on the payroll, and former Chief Galvin and all his wives on the payroll. The deeper the government investigation grows into your corruption, the more people and their families will have to go on the payroll to hush them up and silence them. Whether it's in the schools, in the county, or here in the township of North Bergen.
Thank you.
And Peggy Wong, 8550 Boulevard East.
Okay.
Good morning. I was outside making a phone call, and as soon as I came in, I heard the word waterfront. So apparently you passed an ordinance today on the waterfront. Could you bear with us?
Actually, we rejected the bids on the waterfront park. It came in over the estimate, so we rejected the bids and we're going back out to bid.
All right, okay. Thank you. But the reason why I'm here is I'm trying to get an update on the status of the redevelopment zone because we were promised a meeting, never happened, and this is back many
My
months ago.
secretary contacted you, we were gonna have a
She was
meeting.
supposed to have called me this morning,
She
so I
spoke
wouldn't
to
have
me
to
this
come.
morning and told me she saw you and we are gonna have a meeting.
Yeah, but she was gonna call me
The
this morning.
project
let me know.
hasn't started. We said we would have the meeting when the project was beginning to start. Which
But-
they pulled their permits and we're trying to schedule something for the beginning of January, middle of January.
However,
With the developer, yourself, and anyone else that wants to come talk about it.
well, you met with 3 private citizens of North Bergen. You really should open it up to the public in general and let everyone know what is going to be done at this site. It is the most, in my eyes, the most valuable site left on River Road. It faces New York. It's against the cliffs, unfortunately. And, you know, this is a valuable site. And I hope you're not gonna let the developer ride roughshod over the town.
They looked for the boards and had hearings, that's the idea of hearings at the board.
Yeah, how long ago was that?
Wow, the problem is this approval fell under the Extension Act, we're talking about something that was approved 4 or 5 years ago.
It was originally approved in 2004.
Right.
I mean, that's
The
more than 8
Extension
years
Act
ago.
carried it over, so the approvals haven't there since
Pardon me?
2000, the approvals haven't there since 2004 or 5.
Well, the design alone is probably outdated, and the building codes may have changed in the interim. It needs to be exposed to public scrutiny. I can only say that failure for North Bergen to do so would be a failure on your part, because Fort Lee is building a major development by the bridge. They had many public hearings with expert testimony. That's a redevelopment zone. Same thing in Edgewater at the Lever Brothers site. They had public hearings, many public hearings, and I don't see why we should be any different. And again, I am very concerned that you're gonna allow,
The hearings, they were done, now we're talking about 7, 8 years ago.
But we also had hearings
And hearings,
on the
yeah.
redevelopment.
you
at
had
the
one
board
hearing,
level.
you had one hearing which you were required to have, and that was the acceptance of the planner's report,
Right.
recommending that this commissioners accept it, that's all it was. And whatever plans were shown were schematic, two-dimensional drawings, not enough to show anyone
But
what
at
this
that point,
project would look like.
the developer decided to go back to his original approvals, which he had every right to do under the Extension Act, and that's what they opted to do.
Yeah, but the town has every right also to have public hearings
Well,
to
we
show the
did, we had
residents.
to require public
There's
hearings.
only one, and I
But
don't wanna
it's-
keep on
that's the
repeating
requirement.
myself, but it was only one, I was there, and it was a perfunctory meeting, and was only to approve a report. Now, we don't know what's gonna go up on that site.
It's the approval that you're referring to back from 2005.
2004 was the design. And if you think that that building is
Well,
not out of date,
We suggested that if you wanted to get involved with the rooftop, the aesthetics of the outside of the building, the landscaping, the developer is more than willing to do that, and that's the meeting we were going to have.
well, you know what, I don't mind attending the meeting, but, you know, in all fairness to the rest of the residents of the town, you know, you really should open it up to the public for them to comment as well. And as I said, you're setting a bad precedent here because Edgewater and Fort Lee had many, many hearings on their redevelopment zone with very specific plans and traffic studies, environmental studies, and I don't know why we're doing it like a third world country here.
You know, I live right next to Edgewater, I represent Edgewater. They build rampantly down there without, you know, and they had, nobody goes to complain in Edgewater when they build these things. They're now planning another high-rise down, right to the left of Lever Brothers, where Lever Brothers was, and it just goes just about automatically. So, you know,
There are people at
our
those
people
hearings.
go to hearings, and they go for years on some of these hearings. There's some buildings that have been, you know, I'm just amazed that they seem to go on and on and on. They're trying to be as fair as they can. But don't tell me about Edgewater, because I see how quickly things happen.
Can I
And
just
I'm
add-
not criticizing, I'm saying that's just the way it is.
May I just add one point?
Sorry, time's up there.
But may I just add one point, because you've been saying,
You can't,
you've
just
been
what you
talking,
can, anybody can, so, thank you.
Larry Weinstein, 8516 Tunley Avenue. Kenneth Gorovich, 1407 43rd Street.
Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas, by the way, trying not to see you. At the last meeting, we spoke about Cardella, Eagle, as we always do. And we brought up the fact that somebody from here gave a verbal. Do we know who gave the verbal?
It's the same answer I gave you last time, it wasn't me.
Do you know who it was? Does anybody here know who it was? It was Gary Ippolito. The building
Gary
was-
Polito gave
Gary
me
Ippolito, excuse me,
approval
it's
to
my
operate
time, it's
24
here in
hours
the
a day.
records from Mary
He gave
Stella,
them
the
the approval?
DEP. He gave a verbal
I'd love to
okay
see
to
it.
open it.
I'd love to
It's
see
in
it.
here.
Okay.
Okay, I can prove everything I'm saying, I have everything backed up here, okay? So
That's
Gary
insane.
gave them an, oh, listen to this. 1017, they had a fire, we closed them $100,000. 1019, Cardella started picking up the waste from there because they were supposed to be really closed, so we paid them $11,000 from 1019 to 1031, okay? On 1027, they had another fire. They were supposed to be closed. Who knows? 10:30, Mr. Ippolito gave them a verbal okay. Not the DEP, not the EPA, not FEMA. Gary Ippolito.
Gave them a verbal
Excuse
approval
me,
for
up to
what?
open up,
To
okay?
open up?
And then on 11/12, 11/1/12, excuse me, they were open 7 days a week, 24/7. Then we come to their settlement. Okay, not only are none of these things finished yet, okay, and you're not telling, and you're still not admitting the verbal okay to open, who's not an EPA or anybody else. 12/5, we did a settlement for $310,000. 11/22 last year, we had a settlement of $222,000. You took $106,000 off of that because it was supposed to be $328,000, okay? As the host in this settlement, and I have the proof again, you guys felt it was okay to reduce the terms of the settlement. Any and all claims from 2004 till 2010 are gone. You want to tell me exactly what you're doing? 2004 to 2010, you guys said at least $300,000 a month in tipping